Yo, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to another week of my NFL picks. We at week 4 right now, and we're gonna start with the Thursday night game. We got Seahawks at Arizona. It's a tough game. Obviously, it's a division game between the Seahawks and the Cardinals, and but I like the way the Seahawks been playing, man. I'm not gonna lie, they're just gritty, always gritty. They always play well on the road. Tough blow for the Cardinals losing James Conner for the season with a season-ending injury. So I'm gonna go with the Seahawks on the road to win that Thursday night game. Then the early game, live from Dublin, we got the Vikings at Pittsburgh. A little bit further flight for Minnesota than it is for Pittsburgh, but it's a lot of travel for both clubs. I think I'm gonna continue to go with Pittsburgh, man. I like the way they persevered last week, playing against New England. And if I'm not tripping right now, I think Aaron Rodgers is tied for the league in touchdown passes right now. I think, but I got them. I got them to keep going. I got the Steelers winning that game in Dublin, the early game on Sunday. Then we go to the 1 o'clock slate games. We got Cleveland at Detroit. Big time win by my Browns last week, beating the undefeated Packers at home. And they traveled to Detroit. Not a far travel, but a tough place to play right now. Obviously, Detroit, big time win. Monster win in Baltimore last week. Detroit's a great team, man. Their offense is still great, even though Ben Johnson went off to Chicago. Their offense is still firing at all levels, and it's going to test our defense. The Browns' defense is always going to be up there. They showed it last week, and they're going to get tested again. Short week for the Lions, but I'm gonna pick the Lions with this. But this one, I think they keep it going. Then we got the 3-0 Chargers at the 0-3 Giants. I'm going to keep it real short and sweet and simple. I think the Chargers continue to go. I know it's a tough trip going from one coast to the next coast, but I think Coach Harbaugh got those guys firing, got those guys going to be wired up, and they're going to be ready to go. It's also first-time start for Dart, too, for us. So good luck to him, but I got the Chargers still pulling that game out. Then we got two winless teams, so someone has to win a ball game. In this one, we got the 0-3 Titans at the 0-3 Texans. A little bit surprising that the Texans are 0-3 right now, I'm going to be honest. I thought, obviously after last year, they didn't play that well. They kind of fizzled off towards the end. But they have to win this game. You cannot, go down 0-4, lose a home game to go down 0-4 versus an 0-3 team that's starting a rookie quarterback, even though I think the kid is special. But still, the Texans has to pull this game out. They have no choice but to win this game to see if they can make something out of their season early on in the season. So I got the Texans winning that game. Then we got the 2-1 Commanders going to the 1-2 Falcons. Obviously last week was a tough game for the Falcons. It was tough in all facets. Offense didn't look that great. Just bad on all facets. Marcus Mariota, man, he came in and played exceptionally well. Back up to Jaden Daniels while he's out. This is a tough pick, but I'm gonna go with the Commanders again. I mean, I think Mariota is gonna be a little bit motivated going back to Atlanta, and where he played at not too long ago. I think he's gonna be motivated. And I think that defense is gonna be motivated to play against that offense too. So we'll see with that. But I got the Commanders winning that game. Then we got the 0-3 Saints headed up to Buffalo to an undefeated team, to a Super Bowl contending team. I think right now Buffalo looks like, I know it's early in the season, and I don't like to do the predictions that early, but Buffalo has everything that they need to win the Super Bowl, and I think they just continue to keep it going. One of my favorite players right now in the NFL is James Cook, and obviously, Josh Allen is going to do Josh Allen things. So I got the Bills going to 4-0. Then we got the game I believe is the game of the week. We got the 3-0 Eagles at the 3-0 Buccaneers. Tough blow for the Buccaneers. One of my guys, Mike Evans, out 3 to 4 weeks with a hamstring. Speedy recovery, bro. Get back soon, but get healthy because love seeing you out there. And the Eagles, obviously we all see what happened, last week with them getting a game-winning block field goal and return for a touchdown versus the Rams. That's going to be a good game. You got, the Eagles, they got a little woken up. I think they got woken up by the Rams at home. So I think they won't be surprised by what Tampa brings to the game. And I think, obviously, everyone down there in Tampa is going to be excited to get the defending champions coming to their building, down there in Tampa. So, wow, tough game for me to pick. I'm going to pick the Buccaneers. I think this is going to be my I don't want to say upset of the week because both teams are, 3-0. But when you're the defending champions, you put a little bit of extra on there. So, but I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers, man, in that game. And then to finish off the 1 o'clock slate, we got the 1-2 Panthers at the 1-2 Patriots. I'm gonna go with the Patriots. I mean, I think they're gonna be a lot better. Even though they were great last week against Pittsburgh, I think they'll finish the deal. I should say this week versus the 1-2 Panthers. Then we go to the 4 o'clock slate games. We got the 2-1 Jacksonville Jaguars at the 3-0 Niners. Now, I think it's surprising for both teams. You got Jacksonville at 2-1. Sometimes they look really good offensively. Sometimes they don't. Defensively, they've been actually really damn good. But I think what's even more surprising is the Niners being 3-0. They're Brock Purdy being out, George Kittle being out. Obviously they traded away Debo. They got a lot of injuries right now, and yet they're still 3-0. And I just think, obviously their coaching staff is great. Christian McCaffrey is still in the lineup, so he's gonna give you good minutes. And I think the rookie from last year, the receiver Purcell, I think he's leading the league or up there in the league with receptions and receiving yards so far in the season. So could be a little off, but I think so. I think I heard that last week when I was watching the game. So I got the Niners going to 4-0. I think they keep it going, in their home building. I think I got them going 4-0. Now, this might be the most surprising undefeated team in the NFL right now. We got the 3-0 Colts headed to the 2-1 Rams. The Colts, man, Jonathan Taylor playing balls out football right now. Always a big-time player. He's incredible. But, you look at Daniel Jones, man. Daniel Jones coming from New York, where obviously there was a lot of decisions made there, and, they didn't think he could be whatever. But right now, he's looking really, really good, man, with that offense, man. And like I said, it doesn't hurt to have a Jonathan Taylor in that backfield. And then you got the Rams, who's coming off a tough loss, man, in the division. The Super Bowl champions building last week. Like I said, that field goal being blocked at the end. Coming back home, I know Sean McVay gonna have those guys locked and loaded, ready to go. I got the Rams going to 3-1, handing the Colts their first loss of the season. Then we got, a lot of people picked this as the game of the week, but I did. I picked the Eagles and Bucks, but a lot of people may have this game of the week, even though it's 2 1-2 teams, and that's the 1-2 Ravens at the 1-2 Chiefs. The Chiefs right now, they're trying to find themselves offensively. Obviously, Rashee Rice is not out there. Xavier Worthy has been hurt. They're trying to find their ways offensively. The defense is doing pretty good, but they're trying to find their ways offensively. Get some of those big time plays, those passes that Mahomes got, those 40s, 50 yards down the field where they make big plays and they just hurt your defense. And the Ravens, they got to figure it out. They're having a rough time. Obviously, the Bills game they weren't able to close out. Then they get a tough team in Detroit coming into their building. They playing great football there, but they couldn't get a stop. Detroit ended up taking over late in the game. I think, what we going to do, Ravens? You feast or famine. You got to be great. You can't be great all the time. You can't be great sometimes. But I see the Ravens having a bounce-back game with all that said. I see them going into Arrowhead and going to 2-2. I think if it's a time to get the Chiefs, if it's a time to get them, now is the time. Now is the time, and I see them getting them. And then we got to end the 4 o'clock games. We got the 1-2 Bears at the 1-2 Raiders. Bears played a great game last week, man, versus the Cowboys. Caleb Williams was great. Adunze was great. Their offense was great. Man, listen, everything that Caleb Williams, that everyone was talking about, what should be happened in that game. And the Raiders are kind of been up and down. I think they still trying to figure out themselves, new coaching staff, even though they got an all-time great coach. Pete Carroll, I think they still trying to figure out themselves how they use they star rookie running back, how Geno Smith continue to get comfortable. Obviously, anytime on the defensive end, when you got a guy like Max Crosby, you're always going to be in a position to win games, and he's going to cause havoc on the defense. But I'm gonna see if the Bears can keep it going, and I'm gonna pick them to go 2-2, man. Beat the Raiders in Las Vegas. Sunday night game. This is gonna be the biggest storyline of the weekend slate because you got Micah Parsons and the Packers headed to Dallas to play the Cowboys. Cowboys dealing with some injuries. CeeDee Lamb out for probably for a while. A couple of their defensive guys are out. It's gonna be so throw a lot on Dak Prescott, and with that secondary that Green Bay has, and that pass rush that Green Bay have, they're gonna try to get to him. And I know Micah Parsons is gonna go in there with a lot of energy, a lot of animosity towards, not the players, but to the organization because of what happened. It's always a great feeling to go back and play your former team. That's for sure. And they coming off a loss in Cleveland where they felt like I won't say gave the game away, but they felt like they should have won. I'm going with the Packers to go 3-1. With all that said, inside Cowboy Stadium, they're gonna go 3-1. Send the Cowboys to 1-3. Last game of the Week 4 slate is a Monday Night Football game. We got the 0-3 Jets against the 0-3 Dolphins. I mean, what do you guys want from me? What do you guys want me to? Listen, I don't know. To be honest, it's both teams offensively and defensively they're giving us nothing right now in the season. But the good thing about this game, someone's going to come out victorious. That's one thing for sure and two things for certain. Miami hasn't played well. I think they've given up the most yards, the most points. I think they're giving up the most points per quarter in the NFL right now. They have no rhythm offensively. They can't stop anybody defensively. And even though the Jets are 0-3, I did see them making some big plays last week. My guy Garrett Wilson, the Ohio State guy. I'm picking the Jets. I just don't like what's going on with the Dolphins right now. The energy is off. It's too early in the season for the energy to feel like this, and it's just off. So I got the Jets picking up their first win. And that is my Week 4 NFL DraftKings picks. I'll give y'all my 3 touchdown guys of the weekend. I think I mentioned one of them. James Cook is one of them. Jonathan Taylor is another. He's on a high right now. And then my last one, I'm going to go Garrett Wilson. Just not only he's a great receiver, but also just the Dolphins are just giving up so much in the pass game right now. I can't pass up that opportunity. So I'll see y'all later. Week 4, DraftKings, King James. We out.